Now we're going to take a look at a function that returns a Boolean value, and these are very useful for when validating data or any kind of condition that you need a true-false result. And these will then allow us to use them within if statements or within loops to check a condition, or we can call the function and set a variable to the return value of a Boolean and use that within an if statement or a while loop. So let's create one for this program we've been using, which calculates the car rental. Right, we're going to validate this user's choice that he is inputting a valid menu choice, which we right now is 1 through 5. Right, so there's where we get the choice. So let's create a function that will do it for us. And we'll return a Boolean value, which is just a bool. We'll call it validate menu choice. It's going to need an input of the integer, which is the user's choice there. So we'll just call it choice. Alright, and there's our function prototype. We can take that down and create our function down at the end here. Alright, and all this is going to do is determine whether that choice variable is within a range of 1 to 5. We'll work with a Boolean variable called result, which we will set to false as initially, meaning it is not valid. We'll default to it not being valid, so we'll check for the valid condition then. If choice is greater than or equal to 1, which is valid, and choice is less than or equal to 5, which is the other valid choice. If it is, then we set the result equal to true. And then of course we have to return it using the return statement. And there we are returning the true false, whether it's a valid menu choice or not. Again, we assume here with the variable that it is not a valid menu choice, and then we check the case where it is valid. If it is valid, we set the variable then to true instead. So this will always return either the true or false when it is called. So where do we need to put it? Right here. And with validation, we should be using while loops or some kind of loop, right? Not normally a for loop, but a while or do while. So while, and right here we could call the function, which we call validate menu choice right there. Alright, and we got to give it the user's choice. Alright. And I'm going to close that. But now this returns a true when it's valid. So we don't want to go into the loop when it's true. So we're going to not the result of that. Put another set of parentheses around that. Alright, again, this is going to return a true when it's valid. So true notted is now a false. So it does not go into the loop. But when it returns a false, nodding it makes it a true and it goes into the loop. Alright, so then here we want to say, tell them, was it an invalid choice? Alright, and please enter a new menu choice. Alright, we can do that. I always tell the user what's going on. And then we just see in again to user's choice. And once we get the second input, it'll come back up here and validate it again. If it's still false, it'll come back into the loop, right? And it'll stay here until they finally enter something valid in the menu. And then the program should continue as it was running before. Alright, so let's go ahead and compile that and make sure it runs and show you how it's actually validating the data and the Boolean's returning the true false all the time. Alright, and where's our window? There it is. Alright, we have our menu up. Alright, we'll start with a valid choice of 1. Alright, we know this gives us some good calculations. There it is. Let's go with something invalid, an 8. Right, prompts us to enter again. Go with 7, still invalid. A 9, still invalid. Go back to a valid one of 2. Right, and how many days? Right, and there we go. Right, that menu choice doesn't do any calculations because we removed all that. Right, but we didn't add it for that one. But we can continue with a 1 and put that one in as valid, and we get the results correctly. So now we're validating our inputs. Right? And we can do that type of thing with all our inputs from all our programs now as you continue to write programs. Right? And our exits still exits.